Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 14th of January, now it's 11:30 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudaza and this is my first update for a day in which I'll share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There are quite a few very significant developments and news that I like to share with you for this moment. And well, of course, I will start with the tragic news that become public on Friday evening by Moscow time, which is that unfortunately Gonzalo Lira, journalist, Chilean and US citizen, and a journalist who worked in Ukraine and who was very popular, he had a big following, died in Ukrainian captivity. Unfortunately, State Department did not do anything to save life of Gonzalo. He was arrested twice. Of course, all of you are familiar with his story in Ukraine. He was arrested twice, and unfortunately, although 3 times actually, because after he was arrested first time, he was released. Then he was arrested again and was released on bail, and he tried then to move to Hungary, although as I understand, according to reports that I see yesterday and day before, he was looking for ways to move to Russia, but probably he did not find a safe route, safe passage, and while he was crossing border with Hungary, he was arrested once again, and unfortunately he was tortured, treated extremely badly, and he died. Rest in peace, Gonzalo. Tragedy, of course, that could be easily prevented if Antony Blinken or anybody from his office, anybody from State Department or White House for that matter, would call in Kiev and will demand release of Gonzalo, or at least deportation. This situation could be resolved easily, but State Department sacrificed, and current administration of US, Biden's administration, sacrificed yet another US citizen for their geopolitical agenda. That's all it is. We can all day long criticize Kiev regime for their approach towards Gonzalo, but we all know what kind of people Zelensky and his criminal associates are. So I guess no one is surprised that Gonzalo was treated this badly by Kiev regime. But yet again, until last moment, I couldn't believe that State Department will do nothing. Really, I mean, I was thinking at some point State Department will get involved and Gonzalo will be released, but it did not happen. Tragedy, of course, and many people did made comment about it, about this situation, made statements. Journalists, people who knew him personally and who did not, for example, Tucker Carlson in US did comment on this topic. Elon Musk reacted and condemned the lack of action on part of US officials, which is quite understandable. But yet again, this story is pure demonstration of evil nature of leadership of current political leadership of US. That's all it is, really. So if I was US citizen, I will definitely think twice for whom these so-called elites are working, really, because they definitely are not protecting US citizens. That's for sure. Unfortunately, there is no, of course, guarantees that any other journalist will be safe from Kiev regime in Ukraine or outside Ukraine, because we all know that Kiev regime is targeting journalists, and there was quite a number of assassinations or attempted assassinations in Russian soil, for example, from Kiev regime. And I think these people in Kiev, they are so much out of control that they may even target journalists in the Western world. So, well, it is what it is. Friday evening, I had a live stream on my Rumble channel, Telegram Reports program, when this news broke up about Gonzalo, and I was asked during the live stream if I heard anything about these rumors that was circulating that Gonzalo Lira died in Ukraine captivity, and I did not know at the moment. I had no information during that live stream, and after live stream I checked media outlets, and yes, information was confirmed that Gonzalo was dead. Tragedy, and one more crime on part of Kiev regime and Biden's administration. That's all it is. Until last, I could not believe that Gonzalo wouldn't be released, but that's... Let's continue with some other news now, and RIA Novosti is reporting that Russian tanks in zone of special military operation will be equipped with radio electronic warfare system SANIA, which are basically engineered especially to suppress drones, FPV drones, and all the other type of drones. Good development. Russian tanks and I guess other types of armored vehicles soon will be equipped. All of them will be equipped with this radio electronic warfare systems, and it will of course increase defensive capabilities of Russian military equipment against the drones. So this is quite good development. Also, RT is reporting that Romanian farmers blocked border crossing with Ukraine. A major border checkpoint between Ukraine and Romania was blocked by the EU nations' farmers on Saturday. Agricultural producers have been staging protests in the area of the past few days to express their opposition to the continuation of Ukrainian imports, which, according to local media, have caused a price collapse in their entire Black Sea region. The blockade was confirmed by the Ukrainian Border Service, which said on Telegraph that the movement of trucks through the Siret checkpoint, which was become a major export route for Ukrainian goods into EU, had been barred or blocked. As many as 825 vehicles sought to enter Romania from Ukraine at the time the border crossing was blocked. It added. The Ukrainian authorities stated that the reason for the blockade was unknown. Earlier this week, the Romanian media reported that farmers from the northern part of the country had decided to block the Siret checkpoint with the tractors, since it was a major route for grain transit. So yet again, no surprising news. Eastern European states especially are not happy with Brussels approach to Kiev and import of Ukrainian goods, especially agricultural produce, to the EU, because it did influence significantly on prices, and EU member states, farmers from EU member states just cannot compete price-wise with Ukrainian farmers, and therefore it's quite understandable that farmers are expressing their frustration by blocking checkpoints. I remind you, dear friends, that in Germany massive strikes are taking place, in which not just farmers are participating, but also workers of many other sectors of the economy, including logistics and the transport. So issue is serious, and I don't think it will be resolved anytime soon, because after all, of course, Brussels and governments of EU member states know perfectly well that by giving preferences to Kiev regime, they are harming their own citizens, their own economies. But this is political decision. This is a decision based on ideology, and therefore I don't think Brussels will change its attitude at all. And most likely governments of EU member states will also continue this policies, at least for the time being, until societies in the EU member states will truly rise up against this madness that is happening in political elites of those EU countries. Also interesting news that some polemic discussion now is taking place in Ukraine and the United Kingdom about what kind of agreement exactly was signed by Rishi Sunak, Prime Minister of UK, and Zelensky, President of Ukraine, because Ukrainian side use terminology like security guarantees. And as you know, Rishi Sunak was in Ukraine like 2 days ago, isn't it, when this agreement was signed, and Ukrainian side calls this agreement security guarantees from UK. When UK uses different terminology, UK says this is not security guarantee, but assurances of security, which gives you a wide range of understanding or interpretation of this word. And what we are receiving from UK information is tells us that London did not sign up for any immediate guarantees for Ukraine's security. UK didn't sign up for sending its military personnel into Ukraine, or anything like that. When from Ukraine, exactly the opposite information was at some point was spread worldwide. And most importantly, one of the most important stuff in this agreement is that English version of agreement has priority if sides will begin speculating what exactly was signed. And if Kiev will demand anything from London, then English version has priority, and in the English version UK sign up just for assurances for Kiev regime, which basically means nothing. I mean, London can provide any assistance to Kiev regime for some time, and can stop providing any assistance at any time without consequences, really. And if you remember, I was looking for detailed information about this agreement between the sides, and it was difficult to find any exact copy of agreement on the internet, and that's why sites are now speculating what exactly that agreement meant or means. Anyway, let's continue. Kommersant newspaper is reporting that Netanyahu made, Prime Minister of Israel made yet another statements about escalation in Gaza and said that war will end. End of war will is directly connected with the time frame when IDF, Israeli Defense Forces, will establish full control over the Gaza Strip, from the northern part and towards Gaza-Egypt border. So basically, Netanyahu indirectly confirmed that entire Gaza Strip is a zone of military operation of IDF, and once entire strip will be under full control of IDF, then they will consider to end military operation. And if you take a look on the northern Gaza, it's empty from locals, almost empty from civilians, and one may assume that very same will happen in the southern Gaza Strip once IDF will shift its attention towards southern Gaza Strip, and eventually, unfortunately, it's highly likely that Palestinians will be forced to Egypt. That's how it's unfortunately gonna end. So, well, this Karabakh scenario that I was talking about from very beginning of this escalation between Israel and Palestine have been already implemented in the western part of Gaza Strip and will be implemented on entire Gaza, and this statement of Netanyahu means exactly that. Pentagon frustrated with the United Kingdom over Yemen link, according to Telegraph. As you know, a few days ago, US and UK began a military operation against Yemeni Houthis, and Pentagon is upset with their British colleagues because UK's media began reporting about strikes on Houthi rebels few hours before strikes even happened, and the Pentagon now is asking for explanations how it happened that this supposed to be highly sensitive information was leaked to media, and well, maybe in Sunak's government, not everybody is very keen to drag United Kingdom into other military conflict, and they leaked information to media to somehow influence the situation and slow down Sunak and his willingness to get involved in every possible conflict on this planet. But whatever the case, well, Pentagon is criticizing London now for leaking sensitive information. And by the way, both countries are continuing to conduct strikes against Ansar Allah organization, against Houthi rebels, and yesterday was strikes, day before. So if initially many people they thought that this would be one-time military operation, one-time strike, it's not. It seems like it's not the case. Washington and London on regular basis will strike Houthi rebels. Maybe they will even send ground forces. Who knows? Maybe they will even send ground forces into southern and central Yemen, or maybe even northern Yemen. Who knows? Who knows what those crazies in political and military leadership of US and UK have in mind. Also interesting news that Germany is to join EU mission against Houthis. Why Germany? Why? But yet again, we are talking about Scholz's government. Germany is of course occupied country, occupied by US, and German's government is only on the paper German's government, but in reality those people, Scholz, Baerbock, Merbock and the rest of them are basically assets of CIA, assets of Washington, and they are operating under direct orders of their US bosses. That's all. So they were told to send warship, military warship, into the Red Sea and to become a part of this anti-Houthi alliance, and that's what they did. So Berlin is planning to send its F-124 Hessen frigate into the Gulf of Aden early next month. The German newspaper Die Welt's weekend edition has reported, citing sources, the such class vessels is equipped with the recognition radar capable of simultaneously detecting up to 1,000 targets, air defense missiles and attack helicopters. It also carries anti-ship Harpoon missiles and torpedoes. Well, I don't think Houthi rebels have huge vessels against which these Harpoon missiles and torpedoes can be used. But air defense capabilities of this Hessen class frigate may become useful for or handy for US. Of course, this ship will be under full US command in reality once it will enter region. RT is also reporting that well, troublemaker and warmonger, in quotes, who is the winner of the Taiwan's presidential election. So according to, of course, we all know that on Saturday there was elections in Taiwan, and elections was won by Vice President Lai Ching-te, a key figure in the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, who is more known as someone who is seeking or in support of independence of Taiwan. So he and his party, I guess, are shifting the decades-old policies towards independence, because usually since the creation of this enclave, Taipei, official policy of Taipei was that they are legit government of entire China. They never stated that they are independent state. They were stating that they are in a legit government of China. But of course, world recognize current government in Beijing as a legit government, and well, this struggle between the sides continued for decades. And now it seems like U.S. assets in Taipei, including this individual Lai Ching-te, they are changing this political narrative and now pushing for towards independence. And China is very clear about possible declaration of independence by Taiwan. I guess if it will happen, China will cut diplomatic and all the other ties with any country which will recognize independence of Taiwan. But what is also important, and maybe even most important, maybe this individual will not declare or not even push Taiwan towards independence, despite his own preferences, but because he's known as a warmonger. Maybe Washington will use this figure to provoke, and most likely that will happen, to provoke military confrontation with China, with the mainland China. That's most important in this development, that U.S. asset is becoming leader of this Chinese region, and most likely Washington will try to use these people, this individual and his inner circle to further destabilize region and to eventually provoke military confrontation. That's what gonna happen, and I guess in next 3 to 5 years we will see military conflict between mainland China and Taiwan. Let's hope I'm mistaken, but well, things are escalating very quickly worldwide, just about everywhere. The Novosti is reporting that former and possibly future president of US, Donald Trump, made statement during one of his recent speeches that world is never been as close to Third World War as now. And well, unfortunately, hard to disagree with him. World is in in very bad place right now. Conflict in Ukraine, this proxy war in Ukraine, proxy war of US and NATO, escalation in the Middle East, which may go regional at any moment, situation in the Pacific, possible military escalation between China and Taiwan. Well, the world is definitely in a difficult place to navigate, and unfortunately, seems like world definitely is heading towards Third World War, and I will say, give it 10-15 years, and world will probably end up in a Third World War. That's how I see it anyway, because Western ruling class will not stop. They will only escalate. And I'm afraid this constant increase in pressure will eventually become a reason for Third World War. Just give it 10-15 minutes max, and that's it. Yet again, let's hope I am wrong, but only so much Western ruling class can bully the rest of the world. Only so much. At one point, rest of the world will begin fight back, and that's it. That will be end of the world, because this fight between West and the rest of the world will of course go nuclear, undoubtedly. Anyway, let's continue. RT is reporting that Suez Channel tolls rise by 300% according to Sky News. Well, as a result of this situation in the Red Sea, of course, transporting goods through the Suez Channel or the Red Sea become significantly expensive because of insurance cost and risks. And well, according to Sky News, its cost did rise 300%. And by the way, ships that are moving around Africa to avoid Red Sea, of course, their expenses are also hugely increased. And therefore, at this point, we can say definitely that it's only a matter of weeks at this point, and prices will rise worldwide because of this destruction of one of the major shipping routes. And this situation, this Red Sea crisis, will definitely influence inflation worldwide, undoubtedly, which is already high. In some countries, it's not just inflation, but it's hyperinflation. Yesterday, I was reading some article about Argentina, where inflation reached some 200%. So it's not inflation; it's hyperinflation. It's something out of this world. But in other countries with more stable economies, inflation also is quite high. And because of this Red Sea crisis, of course, inflation numbers will only rise. Although not, I have to notice here that Houthi rebels are attacking ships that have a connection with Israel, mainly attacking ships that have some connection with Israel or Israeli allies, US and NATO member states. US and UK ships, they become a legitimate target according to for Houthi rebels. That's their statement. But ships of many other countries that are not involved in this escalation in the Middle East are rarely targeted, but only by mistake. For example, Russian ships usually are, passing through the Red Sea without any issues. Although a few days ago, according to some reports that I see, Houthi rebels mistaken Russian ship for I don't know what, and they targeted ship. Hopefully, there was no wounded people on the board, as I see in the news, and ship was not damaged terribly, so ship continue its route. But well, mistakes happens on part of Houthi rebels, of course, but usually they don't attack ships that have nothing to do with escalation in the Middle East. So this crisis in Red Sea may not influence inflation in Russia, for example, but European states, US and UK or EU member states, different story. Probably they will feel increase in inflation in next several weeks. And this news gonna be last for today's first update. RT is reporting that real wages grew in only 3 countries from G20, and this past year in 2023. In last year, and only 3 countries where real wages rise are China, Russia, and Mexico, which is interesting, by the way. Which is interesting. This news definitely highlights, and this data is from UN. This data is not from some Russian research institution or anything. This data is from UN. So. And UN definitely cannot be called like Russian control or pro-Russian, isn't it? If anybody has control over UN, it's Western ruling class. That's why I don't really see any reasoning to maintain UN at all. This crappy organization that basically unable to do anything, any good for the world. They are just this UN, this organization is just a weapon in hands of Washington or Western ruling class, and was used as a weapon against Yugoslavia, against Iraq, against Libya, against you name it, against everybody that are not that have been targeted by Western ruling class. So I'm critical of UN. I don't think this organization should exist at all. It does nothing good for humanity. Absolutely. But while it exists, that's data that they are sharing. That in G20 countries only, in China, Russia, and Mexico, real wages increased in 2023, which is good news. Once again, demonstrates that this Western sanctions on Russia, more than 18,000 sanctions, maybe already 19,000. I stopped tracking those numbers of sanctions, by the way, because there are a lot of them. And this news once again, at least indirectly, confirms that economical situation in Russia is more or less okay, despite this huge pressure from the West. And this is it for now. How long is this video? 34 minutes, quite short video. And hopefully you will find the news that I presented interesting. And if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary about any topic you like, and share video with your friends. on both from both platforms, YouTube and Rumble. This will definitely help to further develop this project. And if you think this channel, this project is interesting, useful, has some potential and deserves to exist in this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Buy Me Coffee, or by subscribing to my Patreon page. And dear friends, before I end this update, let me remind you that today, later on in the evening, I will have a live stream, Sunday live stream on YouTube. So from Monday to Friday, I have live streams, evening live streams with the Telegram Reports program on Rumble channel, and on Sundays I have a live stream on what is this, YouTube, and also I have announcement that from tomorrow I will try to make second updates for Rumble and Patreon channels. It will be same update that I will share on Rumble and Patreon, in attempt to generate some additional interest towards my Rumble and Patreon channels. Hopefully it will work out. And well, this is it, I guess. This is it. Sorry, update may be a little bit chaotic, but it's Sunday after all. It's a Sunday, so I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care, and see you this evening during the live stream, which will take place, by the way, from 8 to 9 o'clock this evening. I will of course share information about live stream on my Telegram channel and in community page on YouTube. So yes, this is it. Have a great day and take care.